Hello and welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy New Year. It's 2019, you guys, and I am excited about this year. I'm very excited about this year. So a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to invite people to come into the broadcast. And guess what? I hope that you will do the same. I hope that you will do the same. So I'm going to go to my page and I am going to share this out to my personal page. And hopefully you guys will also do the same thing. Oh, and welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. Let me turn it down. All right, so I'm going down below. There's a little button that says share. And I'm going to share this out. And then I'm going to just put join us live now. All right, and then I'm going to hit share now. Now, I hope you guys will do the same thing. So I'm going to give people a little bit of time to come in. I do see a couple people down in the chat box. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Let me know how your 2019 has gone for you so far. Mine has been absolutely amazing. And today, my son turned 19. He had a birthday today. So I'm feeling a little old, but that's okay. That's my baby. He's always going to be my baby. But he turned 19 today. And we were able to go to a really nice lunch with family. And life is good. Life is good. Welcome to the show. Hi, Lisa Green, Adrian Earls. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see who else do we have here. I don't see. I see viewers, but I don't see any names. So if you're here, just say hello so I can see your name and I can say hello to you because I don't want to miss anybody. And that's when you say hello at the beginning of the show. We have a really great guest here with us today. And I want to make sure that I pull up his bio and read a little bit about who he is. Zach Govan is our guest today. Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I'm good. Put your camera down just a little because you're not quite. Up. Sorry, up. Just a little bit. Up. There we go. All right. Okay, good. All right. So let me read Zach's bio. Zach Govan from Tulsa, Oklahoma, has been a certified personal trainer for the past 3 years. He's a group trainer as well, and he's been a group trainer for 2 years. Zach owns and operates Boost Arrow Fit Club in Broken Arrow, and that's near Tulsa, Oklahoma, for those of you who don't know. It's a club that he launched in 2017. He is passionate about helping others to become aware of the importance of investing in your health and is fully committed to continuing his mission to educate, encourage, and train others. Zach, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. So happy that you decided to join us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah. So you guys, just a little bit of background. I met Zach probably like, 2 weeks ago, Zach?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
So I met Zach a couple weeks ago. For those of you who don't know, I am from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I go home every year for the holidays. And my sister Courtney is here too. So Courtney met Zach 2 weeks ago with me because my brother goes to this what's it called? Afro Beats? What's it called?
Afro Beats.
So there's this Afro Beats class there at his gym in Broken Arrow. And this girl named Joy, this lady named Joy Aloho. What's her last name? Olo?
Alolo.
Alolo. Joy Alolo. And she's a wonderful, wonderful spirit. She teaches this Afro Beats class. And so my older brother, Jonathan, had been going to the class and he's like, okay, I see you like this music. I think you really like this class. And I'm like, well, let me see. So he pulled it up and showed me some of the class. And I was like, I got to go to this class. And he was telling me about the owner of the gym. So I get there. The class is amazing. But the thing that I really loved about the owner of this gym is that he was actually participating in the class. And he was excited. He was encouraging people. His spirit and energy was just so warm and inviting. And a lot of times you don't see that in trainers. And so that's what really caught me a little bit off. Like with Zach, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, I got to get this guy on my show at some point. I didn't really want to say anything then, but I found him on Facebook. I did meet him after the class, but then I found him on Facebook and, we connected in that way. And I looked at some of his posts and he was very consistent with what he was saying and doing in the class when I met him and how his presence is on the internet. So again, that's something that people need to be mindful of. People, you never know who's watching you. So I asked him on my show and he's here today. So that is the intro to who Zach is and how we met and how we arrived at this point right now. So again, welcome to the show. Happy 2019. I felt like episode 1 of the Carla Palmer Show should focus on healthy living. And the reason why I decided that that should be one of our first episodes for this season is because I find that every year, a lot of people, and I say a lot, almost the majority of the people I talk to, they say, oh, I'm going to get my fitness right this year. I'm going to get my eating right this year. And it's this consistent thing at the end of December and starting in January, the gyms are full. Trainers are walking around the gym, signing up people that they know that they're not going to see after March. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And so I don't know if I'm going to say anything new today. I don't know if Zach is going to say anything new today. But what we want to do is talk about some ways in which we can make this the last year that we're starting a health and fitness journey. Now, will you get off track a little bit? Yep. Do I get off track a little bit? Yeah. Does Zach get off track a little bit? I don't know, because I don't know him like that. I only know him for 2 weeks, but he does. But we're not starting a wellness journey every year. We're not doing that because it's a lifestyle for us. And what we want to do today, and what I brought Zach here to do today, is to talk to us about some ways in which we can make this the last year that we're starting. And we're actually going into a way of living, and we are making fitness a priority, and we're keeping consistent with our workouts. And we are also making sure that we are choosing nutrition-dense food and using food as fuel instead of living to eat. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Is that okay with you, Zach?
That is absolutely fine with me.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Jonathan Palmer says, "What's up, Zach?"
What's up, man? I hopefully we see you at another class soon. Shaking the tail feather.
All right, so I'm going to start off with this first question. As a trainer, what are 3 things that people do wrong at the beginning of the year when they're starting their fitness journey? Like, what are some of the things that you see people do wrong or could do differently in order to be able to sustain this healthy lifestyle that they're trying to get into?
Yeah, I had to really crunch these numbers down because I initially wrote down like 30 things right off the bat that I saw, but it really just came down to the whole instant gratification culture, and people wanting things just like that. So one of my things, the number one thing on the list was starting off way too strong. People come out and one of the mistakes you make is those last 2 months going into the year, you just completely throw the white flag out there. It's like, all right, there's all these sweets out here, so I'm gonna do my thing. Man. But then I'm gonna start January 1st, new year, new me. Right. The thing is, you can use that as motivation, but the fact is you're still gonna be the same you in January 1st. So you want to say instead, like, how can I improve? Okay. So instead of trying to do that complete 180, you want to actually look into saying, okay, what can I start to implement starting small? Don't come out the gate rushing. Don't come out the gate working out 7 days a week if that's something you can't commit to. Right. You want to set things that you can actually commit to. So that would be one. Don't start off too strong. Number 2, which is really kind of starts to tie in to number 1, would be set small, surmountable goals. So, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to come out here working 7 days a week, you want to say, okay, I know absolutely right now I could commit myself to 1 day a week in the gym. That may not be where you want to be at. Right. But that's where you can commit to. And that's something that you can do no matter what happens, no matter what life throws at you. Then as that starts to become a habit, you can keep adding. Then you can go 2 days a week, you go 3 days a week. Then you can make it to 7 if you want to be there. But you want to sustain a habit because it's a lifestyle. And the thing is, it's something that you're going to have to do because it's not one of those things that you just get to and then all of a sudden you're done. That's how you yo-yo, and that's how you end up back in the same position this time next year. So
the third one, can I ask you a question about that? So you're saying that, maybe somebody goes into the gym and they are working out 1 day a week. What does
Yeah.
that look like? Are they in there for an hour? Are they in there for 30 minutes? Are they doing this just to establish some sort of consistency? Like, what does that one time look like?
That one time looks different for everyone. But if we're talking about just an average person, it's whatever you can commit to. And if 30 minutes is something that you know you can commit to, then 30 minutes is something that you're doing. Where if you can commit to an hour and a half, that's something that you're committing to. But the bar needs to be set low always when you're setting any type of goal, because otherwise, when you set it up too high, you start to psychologically mess yourself up, and you start to look at yourself as, okay, if I don't hit this,
I'm a
I
failure.
fail.
Yeah.
Yes. And that becomes negative. And that negative it starts to manifest itself into the next year. And then all of a sudden you got 2-3 seasons where you've done that. And now you're like, okay, I can't do this. I can't
Yeah.
get this weight back on. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try again, but I know I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
And that's when you want to start to break. It's a big mindset there.
Yeah.
So, and number 3, kind of going into each one of those, tying all together, will be accountability.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that you got somebody that's going to hold you accountable. So if you say that one day a week is something I can do, it's something I can stick to, then you want to go ahead and you want to make sure as many people in your circle know about that. And you want to tell them, hey, I don't care how I feel. This is the time I'm working out every week. Make sure I get in there.
Yeah.
And if you got people in there, then that's going to help you to make it through those slumps when you don't feel like going. And that develops that consistency 3-4 months down the line.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I really believe in accountability too. And I'm so glad that you're talking about that. One of the things that works for me, and I know everybody doesn't have a Facebook Live or everybody's not into live broadcasting, but there are groups. I mean, there's a group that you have for your fitness group, right? Your training group. And in that group, everybody can hold each other accountable. I have another fitness page. It's called the GYSB Movement page here on Facebook, and I'm not as active on there as I used to be. But some time ago, when I finished losing my 50 pounds and I wanted everybody to get jazzed about fitness, I was doing this thing, and it was very time consuming, but I did this thing where it was an accountability check-in. And so at the beginning of every day, I would put up a post and I would say, hey, who's working out today? Post yes and what you're going to do. And then once you work out, you come back to this post and you pin it to the top, right? And then you would say, hey, I did my workout. And that was like so helpful for people, and I'm not going to do that right now because I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. But if people can get into some sort of group or have some sort of accountability like that, where somebody is checking for you and somebody's waiting for you to come back and say, hey, I did what I said I was going to do. I think that is the way that you're going to be successful. And then at a certain point, once you are consistent with that, then there won't be the need to be doing all of that checking in, because at some point it becomes a way of life, a way of doing things. So I love that. I absolutely love that. The other question that I had, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, I believe there are 2 types of beginners at the beginning of the year. There's the person who has never worked out. They've never been into health and fitness, but they're like, okay, it's time for me to be better. It's time for me to do this thing because I'm not getting any younger. My body feels sluggish. I don't want to be this person anymore, but they've never done the whole fitness and eating right thing. And then you have this person over here who may have done it at one point and they've kind of slacked off and they haven't worked out for a year, a couple of years, or 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Starting point look like for person A and then for person B? Are they similar or how are they different?
They're extremely similar, but there's a small nuance difference between the two. So the one who's a straight beginner, I would say it would be mindset coupled with small goals. So the thing is, the first part of this and the biggest part of anyone's journey is going to be psychological, always, because we're conditioned as we grow up to not move as much, to eat food that's unhealthy for us. We're conditioned basically to move us toward pharmaceutical companies and being, by the time we're 60, 70, taking at least 10 pills a day. And that's really kind of how we're set up, So really coming out of that mindset really is one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's really hard to undo a bad habit. So why a lot of people fail is because a lot of people try to change everything at once. And your body, your mind more so, wants things to be consistent because
Yeah.
consistency means safe, you know? So from a physiological standpoint, before civilization existed, if you have a jungle and you're in this jungle, there's hundreds of beautiful things around you, but there may be two things, a berry that if you eat that berry, you die,
Yeah.
right? And then behind a beautiful flower, there may be a tiger that's been stalking you for a couple hours, right? So your mind wants to focus on the negatives and everything first because that essentially could save your life.
Okay.
So we take that in to the way we live nowadays, to where we focus on all that. So we have to be hardwired to focus on positives and to focus on those small changes, because it's going to be really difficult to change otherwise if we don't focus on very small things. So what I would say for people who are just starting, just to pick out very small goals that you can achieve, is very similar to what I spoke on earlier, where if you can commit to walking 10 minutes, 3 times a week, and if that's all
Yeah.
you can do,
Yeah.
commit to that, and then let that mindset start, because then there's going to be that domino effect to where you're going to start to have more energy, you're going to feel less pain, you're going to get serotonin uptake from being outside, and all of a sudden all that stuff is going to feed into, you're going to start to feel better, you're going to start to want to do more of it. So the
Yeah.
most important thing is just starting, and you always want to start small because that's what's going to get you. I'm doing a bodybuilding show in June, so I'm not jumping in doing 7 days a week. I'm jumping in doing 3 days a week, and I'm slowly
Okay.
going there. So even the people who are up here, they don't jump out and do everything at once. They progressive load.
Okay.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Um, so for the person B, I would say that it's a very similar thing, but I would say
Mhm.
this time on top of mindset, you want to have some type of accountability, because
Mhm.
you've been here before, right? You've made multiple attempts. You tried this diet, you tried that diet. But one of the things that didn't stand through is you didn't follow through with that. So getting a part of some type of accountability group, grabbing you a partner that wants to do the same thing, grabbing you a group of people that have the same mindset is going to be everything in that situation. So having something like that, I would say those would be the two differences, but they can be interchangeable between both parties.
Awesome. Awesome. I love, we are on the same page with our thinking about this.
Yeah,
I knew I liked you, Zach. I knew you were going to be good for this show.
I appreciate that.
We're moving on to eating healthier meals. Okay. So fitness and health, fitness and healthy eating, they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
The abs are made in the kitchen kind of thing.
yeah.
People might not believe that, but that is absolutely true. You cannot outtrain a poor diet. People should really get that in their minds. If you eat 5 donuts and you go run, I don't think that you're balancing that out like you think it is. So let's talk about healthy eating. Let's talk about making and some ways in which we don't have to go cold turkey, but we can try to make little changes as we go for the beginning of the year and kind of like add different things maybe after a month or after a couple of months to where maybe by June we're making the majority of our meals, 80% of our meals or 75% of our meals are pretty healthy meals. Now, I don't want to get all into nutrition because that's a totally different broadcast, because we can start talking about simple carbohydrates,
Yeah.
complex, all of that. I don't want to get into all of that, but what are some like simple changes that people can make and feel good about it and not feel like they're depriving themselves of some of the things that they really love? Because I'm a huge person of, you know what, you should have some of the things that you enjoy eating. I've
Yeah.
always been like that on my fitness journey, on my weight loss journey. Even now,
Mhm.
sometimes I overdo it, but for the most part, I try to have some of the things that I like.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all human at the end of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when things taste so good, and there are certain things that we enjoy that aren't good for us, we can never just completely cut those off, but again, this kind of goes right back to what I was talking about. And I use um, a prime example. If you are someone who eats the standard American diet, we do addition by subtraction is what I normally preach. So if you drink 6 sodas a day, just for week 1, focus on one of those sodas being something a bit healthier, you know? So you're still essentially drinking six, but maybe you switch over and you do a soda that is sugar free, you know? There's Zevia, which is sweetened with stevia, you know? So that's a healthier soda that you can replace that with. And as you start to go and you start to go week by week, all of a sudden you're starting to change your palate, you know, and all of a sudden you're not craving those very sugary drinks, and you're starting to crave the more healthier ones. Then you can start to replace those with a bottle of water. So
Yep.
just that very simple thing right there is addition by subtraction. You pull away a little bit of something that you know is really bad for you, and in its place you add something that is better for you. And even if it's just a hair trigger better for you, you're still moving in the right direction. So
Yeah.
that's where you want to shoot for. And that's where I would always say, as far as that, it's a very short answer, but that's one of the most powerful answers that I could give someone because it sticks.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, even something as, oh my goodness, we lost him. I don't know how we lost him, you guys. So sorry about that. Let's get him back in the broadcast. Second. Sorry, you guys. All right, you there? Can you hear me, Zach? Can you hear me? We good?
Oh, goodness.
Can you hear me, Zach? I see you.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow.
Okay, hold. We'll figure it out. These technical things serve us well. Again, I'm going to add him to the broadcast. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. But he'll be back in just a second. So we're just trying to figure out what the problem is. But I do like what he was saying, just about cutting back. If you were drinking soda, I knew a lady, I worked with a lady, she drank 3 Diet Cokes a day. And started drinking 2 Diet Cokes a day, and then it eventually went to, 1 Diet Coke a day, and then she wasn't drinking any more Cokes. I mean, she shrunk. She shrunk down because, Zach, you here?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, she shrunk down because she stopped drinking soda. So, I mean, I totally agree with what he's saying. And this can go with anything. It can go with macaroni and cheese. It can go with a number of things that you eat on a daily basis. A big old, bowl of white rice. Maybe you're switching that to brown rice and you're eating less and less. Just making small changes like that. I mean, I totally agree. I like that we're not getting into the whole science of it. Start to get into the science of things, it gets confusing to people, and people go never, because it's too much for people to digest and people get overwhelmed. And so when you keep it simple, and that's what we're trying to do today, we're trying to keep it simple, then you are able to really be successful. And those small little wins, you guys, they add up. All of the wins add up. So I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Were you saying something else before you got cut off? Because I was going to move on to the next question, but if you were saying something else, I want you to finish.
Yeah, no, that was it. Just, the
Okay.
addition by subtraction is a very simple thing, but you can apply that with any area of your life, and it'll be overly successful. So
Yeah.
So that was it.
Okay. So, a lot of people say, you know what, me and my friend, we about to get fit this year. Me and my girl, me and my homie, right? And so they depend on this friend to be their workout buddy, right? And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not. But I want to know what your take is, because I have my own personal opinion on workout buddies. What is your take on workout buddies? Yay or nay?
Oh, man. Gosh, I would say yes to a certain extent. And I say yes and no. And so the reason I say yes is I believe that, especially when you're getting started, you need all the help you can get getting into a gym, because I've heard every type of excuse. If there's a drop of rain outside, I can't get my hair wet, so I can't make it today. If there's a cloud in the sky, man, it's gonna rain. I can't drive in this condition. So I've heard every single excuse. So having a friend that's gonna be like, "Yo, come on, let's go, let's get to it," that's big in the beginning. However, it creates a dependency.
Yep.
You know, so you have that dependency, and that friend kind of goes through their slump, or they're like, you know what, I got something else going on tonight. I'm not gonna be able to make it. Then you're like, oh, I can't go by myself. You know, I
Right.
can't do that.
Right.
So I would say, in a sense, you use that as a momentum builder. You use that to help you to get into the gym more, but you still need to fall in love with working out for yourself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
doing that yourself. So that way, no matter who's going,
You're
rain,
still
snow,
going.
whatever, you're still going. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm still going to get in regardless of whether you're going to be there or not.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your friend's not going to be there to work out with you every single time. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say that yes and no, but you do it, but you want to make sure that you are independent in working out, in which if no one's there and it's time for you to do it, you still have the motivation to do it, and
Yeah.
that just comes.
Yeah, like for me,
Go.
I don't mind working out with people, but they have to be my ambition level. They have to be, and I'm not saying fitness level. That's not the same thing. But they have to have my same level of ambition. If they're going to be my workout buddy, they got to love it as much as I do. I don't work out with negative Nancy's. I don't work out with people who do a whole bunch of talking during the workout. That doesn't serve me well. And so I get a little selfish, with working out and bringing people along. Like that's just not my thing. But I do agree with what you were saying as far as the initial stages of like finding somebody as a support. I think that that's okay. But again, you do need to find your own level of comfort and confidence in going and getting it done by yourself, because it can be a very therapeutic experience. You can get in there and you can really just kind of like purge a lot of things that you've gone through in the day, or if you're about to take on the day and you're working out early in the morning, like find your time. Find your time to get it in when it's best for you. If you have to go to bed earlier because your workouts are better in the morning, go to bed earlier. And we'll talk about sleep in just a second. But I can go on and on. But yes, I agree with what you said. This Isaac says, I don't work out because I want my husband to work out with me, but he won't. What do you say to that?
That's always a tough situation when you have a loved one that you want to be on the same train as you, or that you're trying to upgrade situations with. And I would say the biggest thing is just lead by example. So all that energy that you would use to put into them to try to get them to work out, put it into yourself. And then once you start to come up, and once people start to see, okay, your mood's enhancing, and every single aspect of your life is enhancing, then they're going to want to jump on board with you. Because a lot of times when you're putting that energy out to try to get someone to join you, be on the same lane, you're taking that energy away from building yourself up, and they're going to look at you and be like, okay, well, you're trying to get me into the gym. What? So you want to make sure that you are leading by example. And if you want someone to come and join you in a gym, you want to really put yourself in that best position. You want for people to be able to look at you and be like, oh, look at what happened to so-and-so when they were going to the gym consistently. I want to be like that,
Exactly.
So that's really kind of the thing, is if you want people to come on board with your vision, you got to wear your vision. You've got to show it. So that would be my advice, would be just to put all that energy into yourself and into your workouts, and then let that person see it. And then if they see it, if they're going to come on board, then that's all the convincing they're going to need. But if they were never going to come on board in the first place, then all that energy that you put into them, you just put into yourself. So you make yourself better in the process. So that would be my advice for that.
Let's see. All right. So I have another question for you. So training during the winter with no gym. All right. I have the luxury of living in beautiful California. It did rain yesterday, but I still ran in the rain. But it doesn't rain that often, and it doesn't get that cold. It doesn't get cold enough for me to go, ooh, I don't want to work out today. But in places like the East Coast, where it gets very cold and it gets rainy and wet and hail and snow and all of those decent excuses why somebody might not be able to go and work out outside. What are some things that people can do if they don't have a gym membership and it's too cold outside? What can they do?
So Number one would be some type of home workout. Now, I know there's some people like me that I cannot work out at home. I just
No,
can't.
me either.
If I go out and I could put on all the hype music in the world, right? I can have DMX playing in the background, shout in my ears, but all I'm gonna do is do a set, and then I'm gonna go sit down in my bed, and then it's a wrap. So, for me, one of the things that I mentioned is that there are a lot of free, kind of gatherings. So, like, there's an app called Meetup.
Yeah.
Where there are free events, there are free gym events that people offer to where you can go and you can join people for free classes, whatever the case is. Or if you're willing to pay $5, you can go and you can join any type of fitness class, or things of that nature. So that's normally what I would advise for people who don't have that gym membership. Or you can again find someone who has a gym membership who could bring a friend.
Yeah.
And then you have that accountability, but that's not something that you want to stick with long term because you still want to create that independent, nature. But
Okay.
those are things that you can use to get started right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want us to go over time. I have a couple more questions, and other people may have questions as well. But can we just go back to when I was saying about the sleep, right? About sleep and how important it is to, fueling your workouts, and how sleep deprivation can really add like a negative thing to your workout. So can we talk about that a little bit as you being a trainer and everything?
Yeah, sleep deprivation is huge. And I think most people suffer from symptoms of sleep deprivation in the United States and almost anything else, maybe being decaffeinated or anything of that nature. But it affects everything from it impairs your immune system. It affects your mood, your hormonal balance. It affects your ability to recover from workouts or anything like that. If you look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they did 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and then they did a couple naps in between the day. So it didn't matter where they were at. There's videos of him taking naps in the park. Like he just dropped. It's like it's nap time because he realized in order to be in his top peak, he had to sleep. So successful people always make time and make priority to sleep because it's part of your whole self-investment. You want to be at your very best every day that you enter into. And the best way to do that is to give your brain that rest because you really got to give your brain that me time. And that's kind of what sleeping does, along with building your body back up stronger than it was.
Yeah.
So I could get into sleep. That's a whole nother podcast. So I'll leave it there because there's so much into sleep, and sleep affects so many components of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think, this broadcast to me is just so good for entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship is a beast. It's a beast, and you can't fully be like your best successful self if you are not sleeping, if you're not having great nutrition, dense food, and if you are not moving your body. And I think that those things are so important to the success of an entrepreneur. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're sick and lethargic and unhappy, mentally, you can't. I mean, how can you enjoy your success, or how can you even build wealth or build your business if you're not focusing on those things that you need in order to have the energy to build a business? So I think this is a really great opportunity for people who are building businesses or already running businesses to really take heed to the things that we are saying because it's important and it's very, very crucial to the success of your business. Let's see, group classes. The reason why I want to talk about group classes just a little bit here is because you have group classes. I want to say that I absolutely love your prices. I absolutely love the one class that I went to with Joy, who, like I said, is a very beautiful, beautiful spirit. I also Facebook requested her when I got back because I want her in my life some way, even if it's at a distance. I just love her energy. And so I want you to talk a little bit about, like, just a couple minutes about what you offer at your gym. And like I said, I love your prices. We don't have that in LA. You ain't getting no class for no $5 in LA. You can forget about it. If you want to come to the gym as a guest, it's $30. So people in Tulsa better go find you. That's all I'm saying. They better find you.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of my whole vision of the reason why I created this gym was to have a one-stop shop for everyone. So it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you come past this gym, there's a class that you would be interested in. So, I mean, we offer everything from fit camps to the Afro Beach, which is what you were talking about, to yoga, to specific like ab classes. We even have like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and strength
Wow.
training. So so I wanted to just create something in which, like I said, the whole family can do it. It doesn't matter if your husband, there's something for you to do. Why wife is doing something else. Why kids are doing something else. So we wanted to present something where it's like, okay, yeah, there's something for me at this gym, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. Where we got
Yeah.
this really great mix of dynamic instructors and even more dynamic classes. So where, like I said, whatever your style is, we got it, and that's
Yeah.
what I was shooting for with that.
Yeah, I love that, and I definitely want to put up the information, how people can find your gym. I'll put that up in just a second. Adrian Earl has a question. Adrian Earls, she's been on my show before. She is Master Money Mogul. People who don't know, she says, if you work out on a regular basis, how often should you get a massage to relax your muscles? It's a really good question.
Oh, yeah, it is a really good question. We talk about different modalities that you should do, for your body just to keep it at the optimal level. I always try to get a massage about once a week, and that's normally what I advise for people. Maybe 1 to 2 times, maybe once or twice every 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I mean, I would say every 1 to 2 weeks, you do a massage at that point. Now, you can also, massages are expensive when we
They
talk
are.
about that. So getting one once a month is fine as well. So, especially if you're doing the type of stretching and things that you need to do in between. So,
Okay.
the reason why I do mine about once a week is because I'm, preparing for this bodybuilding show. So I need to be on top of that. But for anyone else, I'd say once every 2 weeks to a month will work perfectly.
Yeah, and also remembering to stretch, and maybe you can do foam rolling as well.
Mm-hmm.
But doing something, and I'm talking to myself here because I don't do that nearly enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple more minutes. If you guys have more questions, please let me know. Let's see. What is your opinion on how much water intake while exercising to lose weight?
Um, this one's tough. And the reason why, a lot of times, just to give the very basic answer,
Yeah.
you would say 7 to 8 glasses a day, and the more water, the better, because essentially how your body works is the more water that you're drinking, it sends a signal to your body to say, okay, well, we can release the water that we're holding. So
Hmm.
a lot of people will hold a lot more water weight because they're dehydrated. So for most people, I would say you want to focus on drinking as much water as possible, but there are also levels to water intake as well. Making sure that water has minerals in it and things of that nature. But for the very basic part of it, I will say at least 7 to 8 glasses of water. And if you're really trying to push it, a good way for you to actually be, aware of the water that you're drinking would be to shoot for half a gallon to a gallon.
Okay.
So that's if you're really trying to push it, because that's going to allow you to release a lot of that water weight that you're holding.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so that would be the very basic just rule of thumb for me. 7 to 8 glasses, or if you're really trying to push that envelope, um, a half gallon to a gallon of water.
Okay.
Yes.
Man, we are running out of time. I cannot. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you guys want us to finish this? Because we can go for 5 more minutes. I like to honor people's time. If I say the show is 40 minutes, I like
Yeah.
to honor that time and end the show in 40 minutes. If you guys want us to go for 5 more minutes and get through this, if you have a couple more questions, happy to do that. But we need to wrap it up soon, just to honor the time that we set aside for this broadcast. A trainer, okay? Do people need a trainer? Like, what is the benefit of getting a trainer? How long should you keep a trainer? Like all of that.
Yeah, this question, I hear it all the time, and I see so many Facebook statuses about this. Like, man, I can go do this myself. Everything it's telling me to do. And my thing is, I kind of look at it like this: if you need to go do a surgery on yourself, or if you need a surgery, are you gonna go to a doctor, or are you gonna look on YouTube, and are you gonna find all the tools you can? Because essentially, you know, that's the argument, is that okay, all the tools are out there for you to go and train yourself. And most people that are saying this can't get the results that they're looking for.
Right.
So for me, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, if you're looking for some type of professional thing, you're going to go and find someone that actually submerges themselves in that study.
Yeah.
So that way, yes, all the information is at our fingertips. But when you have someone that's dedicated their lives to learning all this and knowing how to sift through all that information and knowing, okay, this is actually legit and this isn't, that makes it a world easier.
Yeah.
On top of that, it also helps you to prevent injuries, because most people are going to look on YouTube and they're going to see, you know, this super fit girl in here doing some type of crazy single leg squat. And they're going to be like, I got to do that to get her butt, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to come in there, but, you know, what they don't realize is that, okay, they've got a lot of imbalances in their knee, in their left hip, in their lower back, so they can't do that without it getting injured. So they have to go to the gym and they do, and they get injured. So if you have a good personal trainer, that personal trainer is going to address all that. And it may look boring in the beginning because they're like, man, you just got me stretching all the time, etc. But the personal trainer is actually trained to look and say, okay, you can't squat properly, your body can't move properly, so I'm going to help you, and it's a teaching experience. So for me, the duration of how long you should have a trainer, it's just based off of, it's all subjective. So if you need a lot of work, and if you have a lot of imbalances and you can't really move like you need to move, you got a lot of chronic pain, let that trainer teach you. If that trainer is good, that trainer is going to teach you how to find the information you need and how to sustain that lifestyle. Because when I train people, I don't expect for people to stay with me the rest of their lives.
Of course not.
As a matter of fact, as a trainer, my job is to teach anyone that I train to be able to keep that and maintain those results on their own for the rest of their life. Because I don't want to see you. I don't want to have to train you 2 years from now. I want you to know how to do it, because it's going to reflect on me. It's going to be like, okay, well, you should have got your results. So my thing is, when I'm training you, I want to teach you all the stuff that you need to know. I want to show you how to be able to maintain all this stuff, how to recognize your body. And then I want you to go fly like a butterfly, go do your own thing. So, because even myself, and then there's another, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's another point here. When you look at all the most successful people in the world, what do they have in common? They all have coaches. All of them. You're never going to find someone, the top entrepreneur in the world, the top basketball player, the top the top pianist. They all have coaches, because they understand that there's something specific that they're trying to get to. And it's going to take them way too long to sift through all that information and teach themselves. You know, the best way for you to learn a different language, grab you a coach. The best way for you to become good at basketball, grab you a coach. And all the people who become really successful at doing that have hired a trainer, and they realize that. And I think the thing that kind of falls off with that is that people really don't see this as preventative healthcare. You know, they don't see this as investing in themselves. So I think when people see that investment, then it's like, okay, I see the worth in hiring a trainer. So.
Yeah, and I love that you're using the word investment, because it is an investment in preventative care that could save you thousands and hundreds of dollars. I mean, that even some insurance won't cover if you just take the time now to take care of yourself. And it's just so important. And the fact that you talk about like working with a trainer to work on your form and to understand what the different machines and free weights are supposed to do and how to use those tools and machines, like it's so important, because even I don't know a lot of that stuff. And, you know, I've worked with people before, but I see people in the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is squatting so bad, like they're going to fall forward. It's so bad. And they're picking up weights and they're doing this stuff. And I'm like, you're going to throw something out of whack. But what's happening is you have these people at the gym, they're in sales, they're signing people up. They're not taking the time to show them how to use the machines properly. You have these digital coaches and stuff that are all over the place in the gym now, because they're getting rid of the people, right? And so it's causing this whole thing where people are confused. They're running the risk of getting injured is much greater. And so I think it's so important for people to go to a trainer like yourself. You know, I see all the books that you read. Well, hopefully you read all the books that you post, but I see all the books that you read. You seem like a very serious person. I love that you're not jaded. A lot of trainers have been in business for so long. They're just going through the motions with their clients. You watch them train their clients and they're looking over here and they're like counting, halfway. And it's not a good experience for the actual client. But the way that I see that you are with your clients and your classes, I think people should go and visit your gym. Broken Arrow is not that far from Tulsa. It took us about 15, 20 minutes to get there from West Tulsa. So if you live in Tulsa, you guys check out the gym, check out the classes, check out Joy's Afro Beat class. It's amazing. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And if you don't think you can get a workout in with some Nigerian music, you are sadly mistaken, because I was sore the next day and I work out all the time. So I just wanted to say that. Can we just talk about quickly about two more questions I had for you before we go? Mindset and circle of influence. We talked a little bit about mindset at the beginning, so we don't have to talk about that in great length, but the circle of influence and how important it is for you to surround yourself with like-minded people who have the goals of being successful and getting to the next level of optimal wellness in any area, whether it's financial, occupational, spiritual, whatever it is. I think it's really important, and tell me if you agree, to surround yourself with people who are doing things that are positive and getting to the next level. Like, how important is that for you to, as a trainer, for you to see with your clients?
Oh my God, that is one of the most important things. Like, when you want to start, that's one of the first things that you have to address, because let's say that you actually want to start to put away, you want to save, you want to start to invest, you want to start to become wealthy, or whatever the case is. It's really difficult to do that when your friends all want to go out and blow money on the weekend, and because those are your friends and you want to hang out with them, you're going to go and you're going to follow suit. And it's the same thing with working out. How many times do you have where you're trying to eat better, but how many times do you have a friend hit you up like, yo, let's go get some street tacos, and you're like, how about we go get a street salad? And they're like, we don't mess with street salads, and so it's one of those things to where it really is everything. And they're really just those choices, because your friends have a heavy influence on you. The people that are around you have a heavy influence on you, whether people realize it or not. You cannot have anyone that's on a different wavelength than you and sit up here and tell me that they don't have an effect on your life, because they absolutely do. Because if you put someone up with the same wavelength, same ambition, you're going to be doing a lot more than you would be doing with a person of a lesser wavelength. You always balance out. You always subconsciously lower or raise yourself to those people that are in your life. It just happens, know?
Yeah. I also want to add, for people who have 9-to-5s and you go to lunch with, certain people, like, be careful who you're going to lunch with, because that can also influence your decision, your choices of what you're having for lunch. If you're not taking your lunch every single day, like you should, every single day, it's going to save you money, for one. I do it because it saves me money. That's my main reason. But then again, the other reason is because I know that's the fuel I need to get through the rest of my day. But be careful who you're eating lunch with. Be mindful of that, because if you're eating lunch with people who are eating burgers and hot dogs every day, that's going to look good, especially if you like burgers and hot dogs. So I try to eat lunch with the people who have healthy food, because I like, to see what they're eating. Maybe I'm going to learn something new. I learned the barley is good. I've learned different things from watching what people eat at work, because I eat with the healthy folks. And so I think that's something to be mindful of. Darrell says, I think it kind of goes back to you making sure your group or person has the same drive as you do. But I agree with you both in making sure the thought process is the same when it comes to working out. Right. Awesome.
Absolutely. And I have one more comment to what you said. I agree with everything that you said. Also, when it comes to words and when it comes to positive versus negative talk, having those people in your life that are always talking negative, they always want to gossip, that will completely shift your mind over. And there's no way that you can become the best you when you have people around who always want to gossip. They never want to talk about ideas. They never want to better themselves, because that's always going to pull you down. You
Yep.
always talk about, if you imagine a barrel and you have these monkeys in a barrel, you're the one sole monkey trying to pull out. You would rather have people in your circle that are trying to pull you up or trying to boost you up versus bringing you down. And
Yeah.
negative self-talk brings you down.
Yeah.
So when you hear people always kind of talking negative, I understand they may be going through something, but you got to protect your energy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I love it. Last question that I have, and unless someone else has a question, but last question I have is how important oh wait, here we go. The scale. How important is it for us to celebrate non-scale victories? Because I think so often we depend on the scale to tell us how we are doing, and the scale doesn't know the full story. It doesn't know, if you have bloated or water retention. It doesn't know any of that. Are you on your period? How important is it for us to do that, like that non-victory check-in? Maybe our clothes are fitting differently, or taking our measurements. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I heavily dislike the scale because the scale is it's not an accurate way to track any type of progress whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that we spoke about water retention and just holding more weight on certain days. Because there's certain things, if you're checking the scale every single day, you may have a day where if you're more stressed, you're going to hold more water weight. If you didn't get enough sleep, you're going to hold more water weight. If you didn't drink enough water, you're going to hold more water weight. So there are all these different factors that will make you wake up in the morning heavier than you were the day before. Does that mean that does that mean that that's reading of fat? No. You can hold anywhere from 2 or 3 pounds of water weight to up to 10 pounds of water weight, depending on. So the thing is, that's where your scale goes up and down so quickly because there's so many different variances that make you hold water or release water. So even if you're weighing at the same time and the first thing in the morning, every time, there's so many things that can weigh in on that. So for me, I always say the best way is to check how your clothes fit. Is to measure yourself. The old measuring tape is one of the most accurate ways to do it because your shape is going to change, especially if you're lifting weights.
Yeah.
The scale's not really going to change much. You may have gotten rid of 20 pounds of body fat in 2 months, but you may have put on 10 pounds because that drop off where you have that muscle building at the same time is always going to show that the scale is always going to be the same. But you're still losing fat, and all of a sudden you're getting slimmer, you're looking more toned, your clothes are fitting differently. So I never go by the scale because for me, the scale is a terrible thing, and it's going to mess with your mind, because you're going to be like, man, I'm going so hard. I should be losing like a pound a day as hard as I'm going.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look up and you're going to be like, why am I a couple pounds heavier? I just worked out super hard, and it's going to discourage you. It's going to mess with your mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really pay attention to the scale because there's just so many factors that makes the scale heavier or lighter every single day.
And what I want to add to that, when you said make sure you check and see how your clothes are fitting, y'all, let me say something. Get out of those elastic waist clothes and clothes that don't button, snap, or zip, because that is one way you gain weight. That is another way that you are not able to keep track of how you're doing, or if you're gaining weight or if you're losing weight, because your elastic and all that's just going to go with your body. So I would say, like, try to make sure that you at least most times during the week and a couple times on the weekend, like, wear stuff that fits. It may not be the size that you want to be in currently, but you don't want to go into the next size. You were trying to go down. So make sure your clothes are like zipping and buttoning and all of that, because that's a really great indicator of how you're doing and where you're at. Would you agree with that, Zach? Am I off there?
No, I absolutely agree with what you're doing there. It makes a difference. Yeah, it may be tedious. You may, man, I gotta buy more clothes for my new size, but that's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have if you're like, man, okay, my waist is getting too big for these clothes I got. That's a good problem to have. But that's a way for you to physically measure the small wins that you're getting, because so often, like I said, the scale is just going to throw you off, and it's just going to make it that much harder for you to stay and continue with it, because you're going to lose a good amount when you first start, but then you're going to hit a plateau.
Yep.
And you're going to have to continually, so you're going to be putting in the same amount of work, but you're all of a sudden you're not losing, that scale's not moving. And the thing is, you're still making changes, but you're focusing on the scale. When the scale stops moving, so does your effort.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things, is you don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on everything else, because it's going to have so much carryover to every other aspect of your life, as you're starting to get in shape. And those are the things that are momentum builders. So when you focus on small wins, and you say, man, I woke up this morning and I wasn't that hungry, so I skipped breakfast. That's an absolutely good thing, for you to do. And, just small wins where you're like, okay, I wasn't craving this today, so I didn't eat it. So those are changes that are happening not only in your body, but in your mind as well. And those are huge wins, because you're making it a lifestyle, and that's when it's starting to turn into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love that you're ending it with, you're making it a lifestyle, and that's when it starts to turn into a lifestyle. That's what we wanted to bring you guys today. I told you guys it was going to be good. I did not lie. It was good for me. I hope it was as good for you. Zach, I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you guys have any questions, I have Zach's information on the screen. I got it from the website, so hopefully that's okay, Zach. But I have his phone number there. It's Boost Arrow Fit Club in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. His email is here. It's going across the screen. I appreciate all of you who have joined the broadcast today. I appreciate those of you who are coming and viewing the replay. The replay will be up. You guys, please share this out. This is information that your network, I'm sure people in your network could totally benefit from this. And maybe we'll have Zach back on at some point. I mean, if he'll have us, we'd love to have him back on. Zach, do you have a podcast?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought I saw that you had a podcast. Is there anywhere or anything else you want to say before you go?
Number one, I really appreciate you having me on the show. It was a blast. I had a great time. I really think you have a great thing going, and I want to support any way I can. I would love to be on another show. And number two, for everyone that is looking to start and looking to get this out to the best possible start, but also to turn this into a situation where we don't visit this again, where next year we're like, okay, here we go again. Just take everything as small steps and just be very grateful and aware. See all those changes that are happening in your mind, your body, your spirit. See all those changes that are happening. See the growth and fall in love with that process, because there's never a plateau. So we're always going to continually grow throughout our life. So when you fall in love with the process of it, that's where the perfection happens, because you can never work to become perfect, but you can work to perfectly enjoy the process. And when you perfectly enjoy the process, that's where true happiness and fulfillment comes.
Yeah, so, I think I'm there. And, people probably like, well, what gives you the right to talk about health and fitness? And, your body's not perfect, but I'm so happy, Zach. Like I'm so happy about the way that I enjoy my life. And that's why I share with the world through my Instagram post and post on Facebook and in this group, because I want people to get some of this goodness. My life is not perfect, but I am, like you said, I am perfectly happy right now. And it's because of the choices that I make, the choices I make when it comes to eating most of the time, and working out, and like really just taking in that God put on this earth for us to enjoy. Nature, good people, positive people. I don't like thinking people. I don't want none of that in my life, in my space. I really don't. And so, I think your energy is what attracted me. I think like attracts like. I appreciate you. I think that you are a brilliant person, very, very kind person. I love your focus. I love how well read you are and how you're able to really answer the questions very thoroughly. And I do hope that we will be able to connect again and do another show in the future, because I can see that the people really enjoyed the show as well. We've got some great comments. You can go and read some of the comments when the broadcast ends. They'll be there for you to read. But we've got comments from Risha and Saul and even Joy and my brother Darrell. Lots of great comments from Jason Winters, Crystal. Thanks guys so much. Wanda's here. I can go on and on, but James Young, Adrian Earls. But anyway, we thank you all for being here. If I didn't call your name, it's because I didn't see it. It's not because I don't appreciate your presence. But Zach and I will talk to you soon. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, the Carla Palmer Show. Tell a friend. Trying to grow, man. Trying to grow this audience. I love this stuff. So if you come, I'll keep coming. I'll keep showing up. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good evening. All right.